Okay, so uh, we are going to do about the male whorl of the flower, that is the androgyme. Okay, how they look like, how they arrange themselves. Okay, so it is the third set of floral organs that is made up of stamens or the microsporophylls. Okay, so each stamen has a filament which is a slender stalk like, and it supports a knob-like spore case or the anther. Okay, so the anther is nothing but a spore case, okay, spore bearing organ. So there you can see the images. You can see the filament, the long slender filament, then the anther, then you can see the inside the anther there are some pollen chambers. There are 4 lobes, 1 2 3 4. Okay, so here there are 4 lobes or 4 chambers, and in each of these chambers there are the pollen grains. Now these lobes, they are connected by a connective. Okay, so suppose this is one anther lobe, this will be the connective, then another anther lobe. Okay, this one is the connective. All right, then if it's 4, then again it's another connective. Okay, so if it's 4 like this, no, so this one in the middle, this is the connective. Okay, the connective is what connects the anther lobes. Each anther lobe has 2 pollen sacs or pollen chambers that are placed longitudinally. So inside this anther lobe you have the pollen chamber. Okay, then this is the connective, then here another anther lobe and the pollen chamber. There are longitudinal grooves or sutures along the ventral face of the anther that demarcates the pollen chamber. So like this, okay, long sutures, okay, long openings. Each pollen chamber will represent a microsporangium and contains many microspores or pollen. Okay, let's look at the filament. Okay, the stamen, it can lack a filament sometimes, means if there is no stalk, if there's no stalk, remember what is the term we use? We use it, if there's no stalk, we use it as sessile. So if there is no filament, it will be a sessile and stamen. Okay, the example is arum maculatum. Okay, then on the other extreme, a stamen may not develop any fertile anther when it is sterile and is termed as a staminode. So something like this. If this is a fertile filament and then it will end in an anther, a staminode will be a sterile one. It will just end up like this. Okay, only filament is there. There is no lobes. There are no anther lobes. Okay, so it will just end up like this or like this. You know, there's nothing at the end. Okay, so you can see them in cassia or canna. Sometimes the stamen can be petaloid, so it's colorful. Then the showy labellum of Scytaminae is formed of staminodes. In water lily, the filament is flat. Okay, so it means that it came from the petals. Okay, here this one, the figure is the sessile of the arum. Okay, there's no stalk. The sessile stamen of arum. Then the flower of canna. Okay, how was the canna? It was the staminodes, right? And then flower of the Scytaminae, which is composed of staminodes. And then okay, let's go to the next. The filament may be white or it may be colored yellow, blue, black, etc. Okay, so they may have different colors. Okay, so because it's a part of the flower, no, flower is always colorful. So sometimes some flowers you must have noticed that the stamens, the filament is white or yellow, and the what to say, the anthers are red, so they can have colors like petals. The filament is ordinarily simple in Ricinus communis. Okay, it is found to be branch. Usually we find a normal unbranched filament. Okay, and this is the anther. But in a Ricinus communis, you will find that the stamen is branch. Okay, so in usually we find that there's no branching of the filament, but in Ricinus communis you will find that it is. Ricinus communis is the castor oil. No, you've heard, right? Those of you, some of you must be applying castor oil, no? If you have very thin hair like me. So it's a very good oil for hair growth. So Ricinus communis has branched filament. When the filament is long, is very long, they come out of the flower and is termed to be exerted. So obviously if it's so tall, it will be coming out of the rest of the flower. So we use the term exerted. Okay. Then on the opposite end, when the stamens are short and inside the flower, we will call them as inserted. So very long exerted and short will be inserted. Filaments sometimes will be appendages. Most characteristic there is the staminal, which is horny in Calotropis and cup shape in Eucharis. Okay. So they can bear some appendages. They may have horns like Calotropis, or they may have some cup-shaped structure like Eucharis. Okay, see, there you can see the castor. Remember I told you the castor, Ricinus, no, Ricinus communis. This is the branched filaments. Okay. Then in Calotropis, which has horns, here it has horns, no, the filament, they bear horns, and the cup shape in the Eucharis. Okay. Then going to the connective. Okay, the connective, remember, is those plant tissue which connects the anther lobes. Okay, so the connective is a patch of tissue connecting two parallel anther lobes. It is a prolongation of the filament and contains the conducting strands. Okay, conducting strands is nothing, your xylem and phloem. Okay, the connective may be very small, as in the example of Adhatoda zeylanica. Okay, so this is very easy. You break it in half. So when the connective is very small, oh my gosh,